Blink is your body. What a beautiful intro. Okay, don't blink is your brain. Quick counter show. Gonna do well. Very, very preppy today. Very preppy. Went to see my mom. I want to look good to make her happy. Very preppy. Today I am gonna be drum rolling my way into your heart. The old drummer boy from The Office. We're trying to gain some time because I'm doing something in the background. But you're not supposed to know I'm doing something from the background because they're like, oh, Ink don't care. Sorry, I'm a workaholic, dude. Today we are doing number 2 de saison 1 de Prison Break, which I don't know how you say it in Romanian. And I'm gonna try to finish season 1 today because we've been watching season 2 a little bit yesterday, and it's how did a kid say it? Low-key hype. Low-key hype. Lorsque leur trou est découvert, les prisonniers doivent se passer en tenter mais Lincoln, qui est surveillance, devra peut-être laisser derrière. Now, we're not here saying, Ink, the feu. I don't speak French. When their hole is discovered, sounds odd. The inmates, okay, have to hurry and attempt their evasion. Lincoln, who's under surveillance, might be left alone. Look at the face of Sarah. She's heartbroken, dude. What a good actress. I can say actor because, can I really tell people their gender and assume their gender? No. So let's not do that, please. We're in 2025, thank you. So we're gonna skip the reminder. Bellic is finding the hole now. Thankfully speaking, guess who's there? Eminem in the song Guess Who's Back Again. Shitty's back to the friend. We have Mr. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say that Tweener. I forgot the whole part where Tweener almost got raped by Avocado, which is the name of the inmate that's with him. You can tell they didn't run out of ID. We started with Abruzzi, John Abruzzi, with Sucre, hey papi, with Michael Scofield, with Lincoln Burrow, and now we are at Avocado. Well, Tweener is also not a great name, I guess, because I don't know what the Tweener is actually. It seems like the Twink, but I don't know if that's the thing. So Avocado came in, and Tweener was like, yo, I'm gonna take a knife, which is technically a razor blade, and he chopped homie's BP, which is relevant how? Well, because if he stays in jail, he gets... So he doesn't have a choice anymore. That's pretty much it. So Bellic comes in and he finds the hole. Luckily for us, our hero, DB Cooper, it's a prison show, so inmates are heroes. Makes sense, yes. He comes in and it's like, yo, you ain't gonna do ish. So take a shovel and he hits Bellic. However, he puts him in the hole, which is kind of cool because the same place gonna be the evasion for some of the inmates ends up being the trap for one of them. However, DB Cooper gets really injured because somebody broke a coffee pot and he had some glass here, right? So Michael's like, yo, we have to make the exit tonight. I need to do one thing because they bring dogs in. Now, there's a possibility that there's always been dogs, but now there's dogs. So then Michael tells the inmate, make your own stink. So some of them are super smart. Like, for example, Skipat used rubbing alcohol. DB used disinfectant that he's doing it on the wall. Sucre and Michael use bleach. Teabag use cafeteria food. And John Abruzzi use horse's manure. Did I remember correctly? I think I did. When you remember how the Hydra stinks, because of course I'm watching the show for entertainment purpose, but I'm also watching the show because one day I'll be in jail for horrible crime against humanity, and I'll be looking to escape, and this is gonna be my blueprint. So we have Michael, and we have... This is so crappy, because today I went to my mom's house. Yes, my mom's house. That's a name of the podcast. And I was on the bus, and I was watching for season 2, and I'm at season 2, episode 4, so watching this back. Like, I just want to move on, dude, but... all in hopes. So we have Lincoln, who's really behind it, And this is where the show gets kind of dull. Not on purpose, but it gets kind of dull. So how does it get dull? Good question. I'm glad that you ask. It get dull because Michael has people to take care of. No. Lincoln asks people to take care of Michael. Which would be a very nice moment, very enduring moment. If we didn't see it, I don't know. Episode 12, right? Get Nick Fuentes, right? And they're putting away, and this is really good. They're putting together the fact that there is a house there. There is a house that is bought, and the house. See, they're hanging at straws. The straw that says Chance was alive. Then we found the thief. He's not alive. There is a house, and the house that's discovered before that was bought thanks to the money from the life insurance of president. There might be some clues there. So if they can find the house, they can find the clues. If they can find the clues, they can find something. Ends up finding the president that is not dead, that's pretended to be dead. But that's for the story of episode number 21. So now we have Bellick, who's awake, alive and awake, which is kind of cool because it's a Prison Break uses that a lot. They'll use a lot of moments that are supposed to be fear-inducing. I.e., Bellick is awake, so if he gets out, the whole plan is down. However, you know the show won't end with the boy staying in jail. Because imagine if the show gets picked up. And the show is season 2 and they're still in jail. And the whole of season 2 is them leaving the same jail. Using Michael's same tattoos. You know? It's like that. So we got the prisoner. And you got Michael approaching Tweener, right? And there is a really cool scene here. So the news that Tweener just mold avocado is out. Michael could be taking it as pity, say, yo, if this kids get in, he's dead. So this is possibly also why. See, my problem with Tweener is it's actually very simple. Actually, the quality of the camera here is amazing. It's actually very, very, very simple. There's 3 instances that are gonna be our points. Instances, the good guy. Talk about Michael. Talk about John for some reason. Talk about Lincoln. We're talking about who else? John, Lincoln, Sucre, Abruzzi. Talk about the bad guys. CPAT. Okay, the good guys, there's also DB Cooper. Now, this CPAT is a very unique case. Is CPAT a bad guy? He's not. I think he's a good guy. I think CPAT biggest issue is he put himself first. But then he has no friend in the crew. So, of course, he's going to put himself first. Then you got the second one, which is T-Bag, which is a bad guy because he bullied his way into making it out, right? These are bad guys. These are people that we don't want to get out. We're kind of forced to get out. That's pretty much it. However, the weirdest thing is CPAT kind of gained his place because he brought money. So he did bring something to the place, and he didn't bring a lot. See, this is where it gets complex. Then Brucey gave a plane, right? Okay, let's put it like that also. Okay. Sucre is a cellmate, so he gave his silence, which is good. Abruzzi gave the plane. CPAT gave pills in the beginning. That made Michael seem like he was diabetic. This is good. However, a service for a service. Michael paid for that service, so it wasn't in the kindness of his heart, nor was there a hope for escape. Look at T-Bag. T-Bag bullies his way, says, yo, if I won't come, I'm gonna tell everybody. So that's pretty bad. And then there's Tweener. Tweener, who we know is, and this place is absolutely amazing. This place is absolutely amazing for a couple of reasons. And a couple of reasons are gonna be so important. And the first reason is he betrayed the guys. That makes him a bad guy, but the guys don't know that he betrayed them. The guys don't know that he snitched. Because they don't know that he snitched, guess what? Because they don't know that he snitched, he's still a good guy. Tweener is the only one that didn't kind of bring in something. CPAT helped them with the bleach. CPAT helped him with the cell. T-Bag also helped with the cell, but T-Bag is a piece of shit. not redeemable. It's all a question of how you weight your action, good versus evil. You know, the tuner belongs in a category where you don't bring anything, and we basically don't have to take you along. It's because Michael kind of likes you, because I think he feels bad for you. You're coming along, right? So you didn't earn your place. You were taken in pity. So what I advise you to do? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So now we have the president, and this is also an important scene because the president, you can see. So it's all a question of power, right? And this is also what's kind of cool with Prison Break. The prison's about power, but outside world's about power. Veronica and Nick are working for good, but there's a ton of people that are working for bad. The president, the Letterman, the company, right? And they're all they're all working for bad, or they're all bad influences in the world. But the question is, who's in charge? And we don't have that. We have the president who's in charge. However, at first instances, see that she's kind of like having to listen to the corporation. And the corporation is doing her every move. For example, here, she's doing a speech. And the company is like, yeah, you're not going to say that because you want us to help you out. You're not going to say that. Which is kind of shitty in itself. Michael comes to Sarah. Michael is very, very, very pissed. And Michael just tells her, look, I'm leaving, and you're either going to help us out or not help us out. See, and this is the crazy part. The whole plan is reliant on Sarah now. And it's a good thing because we did establish that there's a relationship between Sarah and Michael. But it's a bad thing because Michael isn't an emotional person. So for him to go the emotional route feels out of character. I could have seen that with Lincoln. I could have seen that with a lot of people, but not Michael. Abruzzi calls for the plane, right, and makes sure. And this is the craziest thing because there's a couple of things that are going on. Abruzzi made the first call, and the first call is basically, listen, this is kind of cool. This is super, super, super cool. I'm going to give a lot of credit for their show, but I don't know how much credit I can actually give. Some of it might just be my perception and not basically what's going on. So the first flight is like, yo, got my private jet. And the guy's like, how many people are coming? It's like 8. And the guy said, yeah, but there's not enough place. Don't worry, not everybody's going to go there. So then he's implying he's going to be doing something bad. You're doing something bad is killing Teabag. Second one, which is kind of nuts. We have the second call, which is Nick Fuentes. We knew that Nick was corrupted. We didn't know if he was working for the company or something. It's confirmed that he's working for Abruzzi. Now, here's where it's important. In one of the episodes, we know that Abruzzi knows about Veronica. This was his safety card. This was the safety card that Michael was going to cooperate. Fact. Now, the craziest thing is, I don't think that he knows that she is Lincoln's girlfriend and not Michael. So yeah. We have Bellick being inside. Bellick, people are asking where he is, which is nuts. You know why? Because Bellick whole life has been a CEO. His whole life. In the second season, he gets fired. Spoiler. And it's kind of crazy because you see how much it affects him and how much his life was dependent on that. You know? So that's pretty much it, right? We see DB who's really hurt, which is kind of crazy. Michael asks Sipat, yo, do you still have an escalator? Because if Abruzzi doesn't go in, kind of nuts, because we don't have a plane. Michael wants the plan B, and the plan B would be Sipat in his big car. We got Tweener coming in and said, yo, he's part of it. They find a drop of blood, and so the guard find a drop of blood. This is a stupid scene, but it makes sense. It's a stupid scene because there's a drop of blood. Or it's a stupid scene because somebody is bleeding. Nobody cares. Michael said, oh, it's me. Michael, however, see DB and said, I know it's you. What's going on? He said, don't worry, I got it. And he doesn't got it. He dies. Sorry. Sarah goes in. Sarah calls her sponsor because we know that she's a recovering alcoholic. She's a recovering drug addict. Why is that important? Because you implemented an episode called Ghost of the Past. Some shit like that. You implemented the fact that we know that she is a junkie. It's not mentioned anywhere else in the show. It's only mentioned in flashback. And because it's mentioned in the flashback, then we know and we are guaranteed that she does have a problem. So calling her sponsor is actually quite important because that's a step in the recovery, and we know that she's a recovering addict. You know. So then Michael talks to the Pope, and it's a really nice, really nice moment because the Pope tells him how grateful he is, how Michael's a good dude, how he owes Michael a lot. And you know what's the insane? Michael already planned to use popes, so he has a shank, which we see. You know the craziest thing? The secretary goes in and says, "Hey, I know he seemed like a rough guy. I know he seemed like an asshole, but he actually really cared about you. He actually really valued you." And that's to show that Michael should feel bad. And this is more so like Michael should be an asshole, but he's not. That's pretty much it. So Michael goes to Lincoln and said, "Yo, I'm gonna have my escape plan." This is nuts. C-Pat gets jumped again by his old crew. Why is that important? Because for the simple reason that he has to leave too, because they're after him now. We see the inmates hiding the smell of for when the dogs comes in, which is kind of nuts. Another stupid scene. Another incredibly stupid scene. One of the cops comes in and see Tweener and said, "Hey, Avocado is out, so prepare yourself," which is kind of stupid in itself. We got Sucre and Michael, and this is also quite an important scene because everybody else is kind of stressed. The only one that seem sort of happy. I have a back pain. I don't know why. I'm gonna bring that other chair, but that is not a good thing because if I can't handle this chair, I forgot. I'm having knee problem, back problem. Either my body is failing because I'm too fat or I'm getting too old. In both cases, something is going on that is not okay. And me no likey. You likey when I mean no likey? No? Cool. Okay. Oh, much better. Oh, it feels great. Back support. We're gonna end here. Yeah. The quality of this camera is insane. I'll never need anything else. I swear to God. I swear to God. You don't know what I've been through. Convoke. We got a lot of scenes with Sarah. And the scene with Sarah are double Nintendo. So the first Nintendo is she gonna drink? Is she gonna be falling back? At this point, do you care about Sarah because she's not of interest of your main character, so you care about her. She is the Kate of Jack for Michael. And Sawyer ends up being Sawyer. Sawyer ends up being Lincoln. Fuck. And the other scene is, did she leave the door unlocked? More pressure on the president. Michael doing the last thing. His last hope is to see Pope and to actually have Pope free Lincoln. So this is kind of insane. We have Sarah Tancredi asking help from her father. And once again, her father's a piece of shit. Her father's like, "You're always doing that. You're always bending the rule for your friends. I'm not gonna bend the rules." Now this is the insane part. We see her looking through a pub. Like, oh my God, she's gonna be drinking. She's not looking for the pub to be drinking. She's looking because her father is there. So that's actually pretty interesting. Nick goes in and pulls a gun on Veronica, saying, "You're not gonna leave," and this is pretty much it. Michael comes in. We have everybody. We have everybody motivation to going out. So, for example, C-Pat is the fact that he has, and this is kind of weird. C-Pat has his daughter. Tweener has Avocado. Michael thinks about Lincoln. He's gonna think about his girlfriend. Abruzzi thinks about killing Fabioso. Yeah, kind of insane. And Charles is pretty much dead. And he's looking at a picture of his daughter, saying how he missed her. And that's pretty much it. So we have a scene, and we don't know if Sarah unlocked the door. Now here's the craziest thing. Michael, who doesn't know if Sarah's gonna leave the door open, which is the biggest scene and the biggest important of the scene. Trust out of anybody and everybody. Trust her, and goes in and take a shanks What if the Pope say, yo, you're gonna get my brother out? And if he gets your brother out, what if the door is not open? You know? So it's kind of insane. We're still in a good mood. We're still energetic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do more. Like I said, I would love finishing the first season today. We got what? We got... Ain't no way. There's only 2 left. I didn't know that. Wait a second. So every episode is 22. 22. Everything's gonna be alright. With sitting next to you. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. If you're not singing with me, then you're singing against me. And if you're singing against me, I will not accept it. I will push you out the door. I love that I'm going back to season 1 and they say, yeah, you just watched season 1 episode 15. I didn't. There's only 22 episodes, so 22 times 4 is 88. And the season 5 is 9, so that's 88. 97 episode versus 109 that we taught, because it was 25 episode, which is 25, 25, 25, 25, 100, then episode 109. Now we have 80. I don't even know how much we have. I'm tired. Let's get this overito. 22. Everything's gonna be alright. Why is the song in my head? In my head, I see you all over me. So we got number one, episode 21, which is the big night. Michael forced Pope to transfer Lincoln and the infirmary of the prison. The escapee. What is that song? You hear that song, don't you? I'm going insane. They make it with no problem into the office of Sarah, which is, again, kind of snitching. Why watch the episode when you have the information that Sarah is leaving? So the scenes, the episode starts with Michael capturing the popes and hiding the popes, saying that the popes is in here. This is important, however, because of 2 things. First of all, they got Lincoln out, which is important. Second of all, the Pope won't snitch because he's there. So 2 parts. Sucre is justice. Sucre is chess, and this is kind of like a normal. This is very humane. This is very nice, because the whole time Sucre didn't give a schnitzel. Sucre didn't care about anything and anyone. He just trusted Michael, and now he has a doubt, which is normal. He's not having doubt versus Michael. He's having doubt before the plan. CPAT gets dead threat again, which is only meaningful because we like CPAT now. If you gave me CPAT is getting dead threat 7 episodes ago, I would be like, okay. Now I'm like, oh no, please don't kill my boy. He actually has a good backstory and actually a good character. It's just I don't like the way he forced himself upon the plan. But then again, if you had a chance to see your daughter, what would you do? How far would you go? And that is more humane than any of them. Well, maybe not Sucre, because Sucre is going to see his wife. So that's pretty much it. It's pregnant wife. So we got everybody again preparing themselves. What they're doing is they're pushing their clothes for White. Why? Because White is going to be the mental institute. The mental institute. So that's the thing. Fox River, which is the prison that they are, is high security. The psych ward isn't high security. So if they can pass as psych ward inmates, then they're not going to be as problematic as people in blue. Which is what? Which is the uniform of the prison. Makes sense? Makes sense. Everybody is trying. There's a couple of good moments. Sucre Friends comes in. He's part of the escape too now, which is kind of crazy because he wasn't part of the escape first of all, which is kind of weird. We got the whole crew of CPAT looking for him, but then the boys, they protect CPAT, which is kind of cool. Veronica asked Nick, why did you do what you do, right? And Nick said, I'm sorry, but this is what I was asked to do. Everybody leaves except for, everybody leaves at the end. There's Sucre and Michael. And there's a nice scene where Sucre asks Michael, "Are you sure?" And Michael's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm sure." There's also this great scene where you see Sarah, and you're still not sure if she opened the door or not. However, she's done what she could. So, for example, she talked to her sponsor, she couldn't talk to her sponsor. She talked to her father, she couldn't talk to her father. So this is really like, okay, well, I made my decision, I made my bed, the dice are thrown. She's out of the jail, which is kind of important because there's two possibilities. Either the two scenes are filmed simultaneously. Sarah is out looking at the sea and thinking, while the escapee are escaping, or Sarah and the day thought about what she's done, and now you can wonder. So, for example, right, if she's out there right now, she didn't do anything to stop the prisoner, which would think that, okay, well, possibly she opened the door. However, if she's smart, not opening the door is as good as stopping them. Because what they're gonna do if they don't have anything? Does that make sense? No? Okay. So basically, Sarah doesn't have to snitch. Basically, Sarah can sabotage the plan. Because she's part of an important, she's important in the plan. Because she's important in the plan, her inaction, again, fleet increase adjusts. New feature banner. Okay, I already read that. I already read you. It'll happen once again. I'll turn to a friend, someone who understands. I do the Matrix percent, you know. And we'll go with the worst skin ever is Easter skin. What a nasty skin. What were they thinking? It'll happen once again. I'll turn to a friend, someone who understands. The Matrix skin is actually pretty nice. That's related to the Matrix itself. It's actually pretty cool. Because why did it copyrighted? What did I do? You know what happened? No copyright issues. Hell yeah. It'll happen once again. Like if this is going on, and maybe I see you at a movie street preview. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. Sarah holds a lot of power, which also basically means that Sarah is in charge of if the plan works or not, if it doesn't work. If the plan works, that's awesome. If the plan doesn't work, well, tough shit. Aurora. I don't use Aurora a lot. Yeah, we're gonna be using the Matrix skin. This skin, the Matrix. Actually, super cool. And again, it's not a skin that we use enough, so I am grateful for that. Yo soy. Gracias para ti. Okay, sorry about this. We are back. We are back, brand new back. People are still looking for Balak. Now, again, Balak has his old life there. The fact that he's not there is actually pretty weird. You take a person that doesn't care a lot about the jail, it would be too weird. You take Balak, it's weird, right? So that makes sense. T-Bag finds Balak. Now, here's the part that is insane. This is not the first part. This is not the first time the inmate finds someone. They found Bob. Bob was a young police officer in the jail that saw their escape plan, and T-Bag killed because of that escape plan. Bellic is more important because people don't like Bellic, and Bellic, in their eyes, possibly deserve it more than Bob. So, you're gonna kill him or not? Veronica is still a prisoner. Michael used technology and smart to find the door. The president is once again a victim of the corporation. And this is kind of cool because this is where Lenderman. So the first time we see the Lenderman and the corporation together, Lenderman just fucked up, and then he's like, "I didn't fuck up. Are you trusting me or are you trusting them?" Which is kind of important to the story. So we have the door that is unlocked, which is kind of nice. Sarah decides to use again. The friend of Sucre isn't doing well, but then this is nuts. This is not for two reasons. Because My God, this is bad. Okay, they put the friend of Sucre as a fail safe. They want the plan to fail, and then it's bad, but it's kind of nice in itself. But it's more than bad. So basically, what you do is you put a character that you know is gonna fail, or you put a character that you know that's gonna fail, because the whole time, Michael always had a step above. He was a step ahead for the escape plan. So no matter what happened, Michael, there's never a moment that felt like they wouldn't do it. For example, Lincoln getting executed doesn't matter because the other guy can escape. Do I like Lincoln? Yes. Do I think Lincoln is at this very moment the most important part of the thing? No. However, season 2 they fixed that, which is great. Another moment, okay, when Michael loses tattoos. That's a great scene. However, if you pay attention, you know that Awire had the painting, he had the drawing, so he knew it, you know? So again, he kind of knew. They put the friend of Sucre, which doesn't have a lot to do with the show. They know that something's going on because you see the burn, but that's about it. So he doesn't have a lot of implication. Why? That way, if he fails, he's gonna snitch everybody. Because he snitched everybody, then it doesn't matter how successful they were. The weakest link is his weakest link. A chain is strong enough as his weakest link, and the friend of Sucre is the weakest link, and the chain breaks. Now, Michael, brilliant, set up the alarm of the psych ward. So that's important. Why? Because everybody has a white coat, and the white coat is again psych ward. See the plane of Abruzzi come in. This is kind of nice because you see all of his friend. However, the plane has to go because there's too many problems. Got Michael, and this is brilliant because Michael goes in, and this is the same guy that we saw. This is the same guy that we saw. So why is that important? Well, it's important because we established that they have a relationship. However, the guy is in dupe. He knows Michael, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know the inmates. So I never see them. They're not psych ward. So this is where you see Veronica goes in. And this is insane because Nick is taking her to the plane. Because Nick is taking her to the plane, you can actually see that. Okay, well, she's gonna be meeting with Abruzzi, and Abruzzi is gonna say, "No, you don't get to the plane unless you tell me the witness." So then they leave. They go all the way to the infirmary. CPAT know that DB is in pain. However, what is the nice part here? What is the really nice part here is you establish a special bond between DB and CPAT because they're both father to a daughter, right? So this is what's going on. Letterman asked for reassurance, the fact that he's important, and because he's important, that's super cool. That's super cool. He needs assurance because he feels like she's using him, and he's smart, and she is using him. The next part we got Lincoln talking to the guard. Now this guard is super important. Why? Because this guard is super important because he's like, no, I'm not gonna lose my life for $14 an hour. So he does the right move. We see the people. For example, we see that him. He's super important because he's the guy that told Nick, don't forget who you're working for. So Nick comes in, and the guy shoot his father and shoot Nick's, which allows Veronica to run away, which is kind of important. They see that the door was unlocked. They break the window. What they do it is kind of cool. They use the elevator to do so. However, Awire is there, and Awire is good because Awire takes a walkie-talkie. Like, yo, I'm gonna run the alarm if you ring it. So that's actually pretty cool. Everybody gets to escape, right? But at the same time, they discover the Pope is in prison. Because they discover that Pope is in prison, he tells them Michael is trying to escape. The whole crew is trying to escape. Everybody's trying to escape. There's 3 last people. DB doesn't make it. DB dies. And DB, what is super nice is he tells them where he died. He tells 2 people. He tells Michael, and he tells CPAT, which is important. You know, it's kind of cool. I did like this. It sucks because DB didn't deserve this. So Michael does it. Of course, she's the last one. They get caught. The guy is too fat. He gets caught and he breaks the line. That's the end of the episode. Not the greatest, but hey, one episode that we're done with season 1. Now we can move on to season 2. What? Don't tell me that was the last day today. By the way, they put Five Nights at Freddy on Netflix. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch it. No ways. I miss Lost, man. I miss Lost. So 22 minutes of the night. Got 21% left. Should be okay. The escapee. After discovering their evasion, Bellic starts a manhunt for finding the inmates. While the vice president takes a scandalous decision. Again, if I was more precise, you would know what it is, but you don't know. And that is my fault. So they escape. The introduction is long. The editing is long. This is a 40 minutes episode, which is kind of insane. She's September. Okay, we're good. So I'm hearing a sound like water dribbling. Shit, I don't know what's going on. So we see an episode between this is weird because it's like a flashback, right? I don't remember that part. We got a new Abruzzi talk between Michael and him, and Abruzzi's like, yo, did you go? And it's like, nah, that's a few seconds back. You're still in? And John Abruzzi is still in. And John is like, yo, I'm a new man, I'm a new soul. So Michael tells him you won't need the witness, and he says, yes, I'll need the thing. Now, why is that important? It's because of two things. When John Abruzzi came back, he thought he was going to go after T-Bag. So him and T-Bag have one thing in common. And that link in common is Michael. So the fact that Michael possibly is more of a fan of Abruzzi, for obvious reason, is important. Was his course. So Bellic is asking for, and this is actually a really cool moment for the Pope. So since the beginning, Bellic felt like the pit bull of the Pope. He felt like the important part. He felt like the bad part of the Pope. Whenever the Pope was too human to do something, Bellic wasn't. So he sends Bellic his dog after the inmates, and he's like, "Yo, we're doing." My apologies. Bellic goes in and he's like, yo, this is a manhunt. And the Pope said, okay, I don't have a choice. We have another flashback between Nick Fuentes and Veronica, which is what? I don't remember most of these. More of Nick trying to slow down Veronica, I guess. Michael and Sarah. Oh my god, I'm dumb, dude. I'm dumb. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. They put me back in episode 19. That's why it didn't make any sense. I'm like, why are they bringing me back there? There's one episode left. Why are they bringing me back? Well, it is the same thing. What I said about the Pope and Bellic, it is the same thing. So they started with a manhunt. This is kind of crazy because who is Westmoreland? I'm hearing this sound and I don't like it because it sounds from very close. Westmoreland, Prison Break. Prison Break. Prison Break. Okay. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. So who they snitch on? Okay, perfect. So this is important because I don't remember the scene. I want to see something. So basically, what happened is they find the inmate and he snitch. So who did he snitch on? Oh, he snitched on Sucre. Ain't no way he snitched on his boy. It was one of the first one too. That is shitty. Now the Pope said that there's an escape. He is freaking out because everyone knows that there's an escape. So the prison is going crazy. Now, what happened is Bellic gets fined, and Bellic is on a manhunt. He's pissed off. They find him, and it's like, yo, grab my shotgun. So you know that's the first thing he says. Give me my shotgun. So he goes crazy. I don't remember that part a lot. So they escape, and then they're looking for the dog is looking for that. But don't forget that they blind their scent. So the dog won't be able to do anything. They're hiding as far as they could be. The 7 of them are going forward, which is good. Again, we got the agency and the vice presidents. See, this is moments I like less, right? This moment I like less. I don't like Dave. I don't like Veronica. I don't like it because I think it's boring. And at the same time, in a show called Prison Break, it's a lot of intense moments. Because there's a lot of intense moments, these feel like a break in the in-game GC Bros. And then for this new model, end-game GC Bro, the fuck? I don't know what that is. Okay. So what am I missing? We are ready for the tower. The 7 are there. There's a car there, which is kind of good. Abruzzi is the last one. This is kind of nice. So they do. I don't remember anything. Michael breaks down the real life, okay? Because they make him invisible. They send A wires to get the keys, but then they leave. Now they realize that it's kind of crazy because they realize that and this is such a good scene. They realize that what you call it, that the door wasn't forced. Somebody left them in, so this is implicating Sarah. T-Bag goes in, and Abruzzi take a gun, and he's like, okay, well, what do we do? Now T-Bag is smart because T-Bag takes a handcuff that we show him getting, and guess what happens? Guess what happens? They take him to Michael. So if they kill him, Michael cannot escape, and Michael is behind the escape plan. So that's pretty freaking smart. Bellic finds a person that knows that there's a car that was there. So he knows what the car is. He knows what model it is, what the color is. So they are no better to see it. The Pope asks who did it. Yes, which nurse did it because it's a nurse. There's 2 possibilities: Katie, the friend of Sarah, and Sarah. So Katie said it's Sarah. She has to take for Schofield. Now this is the great part because who asked her? The Pope. The Pope was charmed by Michael, and Sarah was charmed by Michael. You're right. So you understand what I mean? So this is kind of good. So we got this, we got that. The tire is messed up, and this is kind of bad.
This is as far as you go, my friend. But how? Everything out here? Not like we had a deal, remember? Yeah, but come on, bro. We're not bros. I don't think you want me telling the guys what I know. Now walk.
Yeah, so Michael tell Tweedler that I know that you talked. I know that you snitched. We're not homies, and I'm not gonna help you. There's a helicopter, which is bad because the helicopter will cover more ground, and he's pushing it. We have everybody. So, for example, you know what's a part of it? AY, everybody does. Guess what he does? He steals a bicycle, which is insane. The guy for the aircraft. Somebody said, hey, there's an aircraft here. I don't know where it belongs. and then the police come, so the airplane leaves. Seabad asks what's the plan, and it's kind of nice because everybody's like, "Yo, Michael, why aren't you telling us? Why aren't you telling us?" And now they're so close; they're literally outside. The stakes are better now. The popes and the whole police force are asking where they are. Veronica goes to the cabin and she literally see Lenderman, and she knows that he's alive. So this is kind of insane. We have the president, and he make a big scene out of the drinking the water, right? Which would be kind of important, but they don't show as to why it's important. What happened? Okay, they don't tell you what happened. Fuck them. Fuck them. They don't tell you what's on the phone. So they're all running away. Teabag, this is amazing. Because Teabag right away. Right away. And this is nuts. This is nuts because Teabag used Michael as a safety. And right away they cut off. Whoa. The quality of this camera is insane. Can't get over it. She's so beautiful. What a phone, guys. What a phone. There's rain. Lachine rain. Okay. I'm so fucking dumb. It was rain I was hearing. Oh, you're dumb, dude. You are dumb. I stole the green grass. See? We'll do it 36-minute video, so at least we're good. That's 89% batteries. Just finish this. So right away, they go in, they find an axe, they put T back there, they cut off his end, which is kind of messed up because that's how far you're willing to go. But again, the person that's doing it is Abruzzi, which is kind of good because if it was Sucre, like, oh man, can't believe he did that. But Abruzzi, you would feel that he done that. So they go in. Tweener finds a place hidden in a horse, a cage. The Pope calls okay, cool. I know what happened. I remember what happened now. The Pope calls the president, Tancredi, father of Sarah, and tell her your daughter's in big trouble. So now we know that she is her. The vice president becomes the president because again this is kind of important. Police goes to Sarah's apartment. She is ODing. She's not dead, but she OD'd. And the episode ends with the airplane leaving. So yeah, so the airplane left. So they didn't have a chance. And a bonus scene with Veronica. And Veronica does what? Veronica does what? This is beautiful. The plane leaves and they're fucked. There's no hope. What they do is they start running. It's a good thing because the season 2 was confirmed, which is great. So for the batteries, let's go inside and plug that biatch. And what is the big secret? Well, we learn that the president is alive and we have to prove that he's alive. So it'll say the truth. This is how season end. Season 1 ends. I'm at 3% batteries. I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more Prison Break. Take it easy. Peace.